This is the story of the $100 million Bugatti, which disappeared in the 1940s without a trace. In the chaos of World War II, the Nazi forces were sweeping across Europe, and that left one of the most extraordinary cars ever to be built, Jean Bugatti's personal Type 57 SC Atlantic, known as the Voiture Noire, or the black car to be hidden away. This car was loaded onto a train for Bordeaux, and although the train arrived, the car never did. This opens up the story. Was it destroyed? Was it stolen? Or is the world's most valuable car still out there for me or you to find? Today, we'll uncover the Type 57 Atlantic and why it was so special, the compelling theories of where it went, and so much more. And why collectors still whisper about this car 80 years later. And just when you've heard it all, we come in with one of the most surprising and stranger turns to this story. In the spring of 1940, German troops stormed through Belgium and the Netherlands. Paris fell within weeks, and a wave of panic spread across France. Families packed what they could, their small valuables, and they headed out into the countryside, desperate to protect their valuables. Paintings were hidden, gold was buried, and even automobiles were concealed from the Nazi looters. For the Bugatti family, whose home was in Molsheim and had been seized once before, this set out a very real danger. Jean's Bugatti, his prized Atlantic SC La Voiture Noire, was too important to risk, so he created a plan. He placed the car on the last train to Bordeaux and sent it south to escape the advancing soldiers. That's the last moment in history where its location was confirmed, and from there, silence. So this is where our legend begins. Unlike most cars of this era, the Atlantic wasn't just transport, it was art on wheels. It was synonymous with design, sculpture, artwork, and elegance. Jean Bugatti drew inspiration from the 1935 Aeroleith. The body panels were made out of magnesium, meaning it couldn't be welded, so it had to be riveted together. This gave you the synonymous dorsal fin or spine that ran the whole length of the car, because it had to be riveted together. Now, later cars ended up being made out of aluminium, but they kept the design because it looked like something out of a fighter jet, and well, was just pure drama. SC stood for Surbass, or could have been seen as lowered or compressor, which effectively is superchargers today. This car left the factory with 200 horsepower, meaning it had the same horsepower as a race car of its day. Only 4 Type 57 Atlantics were ever built. 3 of those still survive in museums and owned by billionaires, and the 4th being Jean Bugatti's personal La Voiture Noire. Experts say if this surfaced today, it could be worth north of $100 million, making it most likely the most expensive car ever to sell. And with a history like this, well, I believe it should be. Historians agree that the car did leave heading south, but after that, there's no records of any delivery, meaning no photos, no eyewitness accounts, no paperwork, and a gaping hole in its history. That silence has fueled decades of speculations, and here's where the theories start spiraling, from the reasonable to the downright fantasy. Hidden treasure. One of the most popular ideas about this car is that it was quietly unloaded before reaching Bordeaux. That could have been a heist, or rather by Jean Bugatti's personal wishes. It could have been hidden away, buried in a barn, bricked up behind a stone wall, or even just hidden on a rural estate. Walking into one of these old buildings and pulling back the tarp is the most romanticised idea of a barn find. And well, if that barn find was the most expensive car in the world staring back at you, it sounds insane. But it could well be possible. The next is Nazi capture. There's always the concept that effectively this could have been taken by the Nazis, looted and taken back to Germany. Now, there's a good chance in doing this that with the other art, jewellery and artefacts, if it was taken back to Germany, it could well have vanished during the Allied bombings. This theory is bleak, but also very plausible. Then, the secret escape. The idea that's romanticised by car lovers and art dealers across the world. The idea that effectively this car, the La Voiture Noire, could have escaped altogether, smuggled across borders disguised under another identity, maybe even rebodied. Some even said that this car could even re-exist rebodied and be surviving in plain sight? Could we have even seen it without knowing it? Unlikely, but then the realism sets in. The tragic demise. There's the idea that the most heartbreaking end to this story is probably the most viable. That train itself being bombed on the way to Bordeaux, reduced to scrap and ash before anyone had even realised that it was lost, and in the chaos of war destroyed millions of lives and a death of a car. Even one this special would never have been recorded. But here's the weird thing. Every so often, individuals turn around and claim that they've found it. In 2021, photos surfaced online claiming that the Atlantic had been discovered in a French barn, and enthusiasts went wild. Could we finally have found it? Within days, experts dismissed the claims. They found out that numbers didn't match, the body didn't look right, and the details were wrong. They agreed that it was most likely a replica or a misidentified Bugatti. Whispers have also pointed to a US restoration facility having the car, keeping it in plain sight and keeping it under covers. Now, once again, nothing could be proven, but every bold claim seems to always end in the same trail and in the same way, and that's disappointment. And yet hope refuses to die, because what if the next one could very well be true and someone could find the $100 million Bugatti? In 2019, Bugatti did only what they could do. With missing such an icon, they created a new one. On the Chiron platform in 2019, they created the Voiture Noire, a one-off $18.7 million Bugatti, which had a lot of the design that you would have seen in the original. Now, although this is never the original, they were able to create something which keeps the mystery alive, and a phoenix rose from the ashes. But it shows you, if a new one is worth 18.7, what would the original be worth? Realistically, this is just a tribute, and Jean Bugatti's Type 57 Atlantic could still be out there. It's still missing, and that's why the mystery endures. So the question is, where is Jean Bugatti's Type 57 Atlantic, and will you be the one to find it? Was it stolen? Has it been hidden away? Or has it been smuggled across borders? The only way to know is to find it, and 8 decades on, no one knows why. So let's get discovering, and if you know anything about this car, oh God, please let me know.
So since making this video, I've got very carried away with this, and I've started looking into the route, wondering if we could replicate it and try and find the car. Obviously, the likelihood is pretty low, but let's have a little look at the map and realise how far this car travels. So here is a map of France. So obviously what we've got over here is effectively Strasbourg. Now, Molsheim is just outside of Strasbourg. It's somewhere around here. Now, this car would have had to travel all the way across France to Bordeaux. Now, Bordeaux is over on this side. So just to give you an idea of perspective, here is where it should have ended, by here, and it started over here. It's a long way to travel, but I'm sure the route could be replicated.
And if you found this story interesting, check out the video that I created about the watch you never knew existed and why I nearly swapped my Ferrari for it. So that's the video. See you all soon. Bye-bye. By the way, if you'd be really interested in me going to Molsheim or to Bordeaux and trying to find this car, let me know, because I think that would be a funny video. I could just get drunk in France and I could tell you that I found it and then make an AI photo.